Technology is a big part of our lives, from the next generation tech toys to cross-country flights, and of course, to what powers a good old-fashioned road trip. The energy we use requires innovation too. And what you see on the surface is just part of the story. I'm Tanner Foust, race car driver, stunt driver, and TV host. And joining me on the Energy Tailgate, Ryder Booth, Chief Technology and Engineering Officer at Chevron.
Pleasure to meet you, Tanner.
Here we are in the Permian Basin, one of the world's largest oil-producing regions, spanning West Texas and New Mexico. I feel like I'm getting the full experience here. It's hot, West Texas. Now, you've lived here in the past, right?
Yes.
And has it changed?
It hadn't changed much, but it has gone through cycles.
Yeah.
But what I would say here is the culture hadn't changed, and the people haven't changed. They're welcoming. They're very family-oriented. They take a lot of pride in the work that gets done here and the importance of this work to the local area and to the country. If you've driven a car, flown on an airplane, turned on the lights or plugged your phone in, yeah, you've been impacted by the Permian.
Okay, I've just been woken up by an annoying alarm clock. I plugged my phone in. The battery did, in fact, get charged, which is great. It's still dark because I'm an early riser, so I flipped the light switch on. I mean, how does that life that I'm living affected by the Permian?
Yeah, whether you live here or whether you don't live here, your daily life is impacted by the Permian Basin. It produces around 50% of all the U.S. oil that's produced. So U.S. actually is the largest producer of oil in the world. Around half of it comes from around right here. And the Permian produces around 30% of all natural gas that's used for power, for heating. And the U.S. makes more oil than any other country on the planet, and half of it's right here. It's just remarkable.
I always thought that was something the U.S. imported out of necessity, not because we wanted to,
yeah,
but out of necessity. That's just, even up until 5 weeks ago, I thought that. And to hear that we're the largest producer of oil and energy, even just in this one part of our country, it's just staggering. It's a source of pride, first of all, but it also must be an incredible source of stability for our economy.
Well, gives us significant energy security, which gives you trade and financial security, which we could see in the news from time to time. It does translate to national security. We still import some oil. We're the largest producer in the world, but we use more oil every day in products than we actually produce. And so continuing to drive technology and innovation to unlock the resources we have, still important to us going forward.
Makes all the sense in the world.
If you think about the Gulf of America, one of the latest breakthroughs was our Anchor project.
Yeah.
It was the first development of 20,000 PSI, 20K technology, first time unlocking kind of a new horizon around the world. And we co-developed a lot of that 20 PSI technology with our partners. And so that's another technology that'll be able to be used not just in the Gulf of America, but anywhere in deep water.
The technology breakthrough at Anchor allows Chevron to produce oil from depths and pressures previously considered unreachable. Now, Anchor is expected to produce for an estimated 30 years in the Gulf of America, helping to meet the world's growing energy demand. Now, when you say 20,000 PSI, is that related to how much pressure is coming out, or is it something that you're putting in?
Yeah, it's the pressure actually in the reservoir. 20,000 PSI would be equivalent to the pressure of an elephant standing on a quarter. So it's massive amount of pressure. And what the 20K technology unlocked was for the oil and gas industry to be able to operate in deeper and in more extreme conditions safely around the world.
And is that an innovation in the materials used or the process, or how do you then break through to being able to manage that much extreme pressure?
It was innovation in the actual wellheads that sit on the sea floor, the valves and the piping system that gets you to the surface of the water. So a significant number of different innovations to lead to unlocking 20K technology.
Now, when I've looked at some of the technology at the Integrated Operations Center.
I mean, to say that there's a lot going on here is such an understatement. I've seen everything from just live monitoring of valves to actually controlling drones that are out looking for leaks and other things. I mean, I don't know the proper way to say it, but this is only a small percentage of all the screens in this room, and it's...
Are you able to monitor things under the sea like that as well from remote locations that are combining data from around the rest of the world to take advantage of that?
The Integrated Operations Center
Yeah.
is the central nervous system. You have all of the data from all of the instruments from facilities just like this feeding back to one central location. And in the Gulf of America, you have a very similar Integrated Operations Center where all of the data from valves, instruments, subsea, in the wells and at the surface are coming back to one central location to be able to operate effectively and efficiently, but more importantly, safely.
What is the kind of wow technology that brings that next innovation that you're talking about?
One is our advanced chemicals. And we actually treat the wells here to actually improve the flow of oil and gas molecules through what looks like solid rock into the fracture networks from fracking the wells and up to facilities like this.
Advanced chemicals can improve flow in existing wells. As technology evolves, teams are finding new ways to get more energy from the resources already in place.
I do believe advanced chemicals, whether used in shale and tight or in other types of reservoirs, I do think they unlock and may not seem that amazing, but unlocking 1% or 2% of oil and gas with your existing footprint, that's a wow factor in our world. AI will have a wow factor. AI, it's attracted to big data and big opportunities. And the oil and gas industry has big data.
And that seems to be the worry is making sure it's got good data to work from in order to be reliable and honest, right? And you talk about decades of data, terabytes of data, and whatever is after terabytes.
Petabytes.
Petabytes. Like, I mean, how can you even fathom, what was the number, 4 petabytes? Or I don't even remember what the number was. How can you maybe bring that to reality for us?
Our geology AI system accesses that 4 petabytes of data. And a petabyte, to put it in terms of, it'd be like watching an HD movie for 30 years straight. That would be 1 petabyte of data in terms of easy to understand.
Okay. All right, that's insane. And in talking to some other executives from Chevron, I've learned that there's Chevron's involved in a lot of diversity of energy sources, everything from hydro, nuclear, but we still are primarily dependent on energy that comes right out of the ground beneath us here. Is there enough for us with this future demand?
There is. I'll just use the Permian as an example.
Yep.
All the production, the renaissance that's taken place with producing almost 6 to 7 million barrels a day, we only recover about 10% of the molecules. 90% of the molecules are still in the ground, and that's an opportunity.
Sure.
And technology and innovation will unlock that.
And I mean, that must be a little bit of an interesting crossroads in your world with the tech, the data that you have, and the access to the energy itself still.
There's a lot of crossroads. AI is creating quite a lot of crossroads in opportunities of how you unlock energy sources going forward. But we need all forms of energy to meet demand in the world. You mentioned some of those, from your race car driving days. Oil refined to gasoline and high octane gasoline, it has just incredible energy density, and it has mobility to be able to be shipped and used in multiple places, which gives it a number of different strengths in the energy marketplace. But we need all forms of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ryder, I have to thank you for taking the time. I mean, it's mind-boggling. Per usual for me in this role, we're sitting on one of the biggest powerhouses in the world, and it still has so much potential with all of the innovations and that you've described and all the technology you're behind. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. Our pleasure.